Hello everybody. The Warriors barely held on in a absolutely bonkers game. My heart is still racing. Let's dig into the last 3 minutes. Simple play, wing pick and roll. Usually it's Steph Curry with Draymond on the wing, but as you probably know, Draymond was not available at this moment in the game. Here's Andrew Wiggins setting the screen for Steph. Memphis is not messing around. They just go straight to the Shining Twins defense. Brooks and Jaren Jackson Jr. just blitzing Steph at the top of the arc. That means Andrew Wiggins is free. And look at the spacing here. Klay's man does not want to leave. Poole's man does not want to leave the dunker spot here. So this man can rotate. There's a huge hole in the ozone layer here for Wiggins to just slip through. Steph, beautiful pass. Looney's man does finally rotate a bit slow to Wiggins. Looney showing a teeny bit of gravity in the dunker spot, and a little bump gets the foul. Andrew Wiggins, to his credit, hit the 2 clutch free throws. I was not expecting that. The Warriors put Wiggins to defend Ja Morant, but Memphis doesn't like that, so they set up this 2-sided screen to let Ja have his pick about who he wants. Brandon Clarke dives. Dillon Brooks pops, so Klay is the one guarding Morant. Jordan Poole here is at the nail, sunk in way far away from his man Dillon Brooks to stop Ja from turning the corner this way. Ja drives left, crossover right. Poole is right on the nail to stop this drive, which means Dillon Brooks is totally open. Attack of the closeout. He just goes right by Poole. I think Wiggins has to be the one to rotate fast. Brooks gets the big time dunk. Klay not at all satisfied with the defense there. I don't know if he thought the rotation was slow or that Poole should have not closed out so hard. Probably both. Brooks had a bad shooting game. Klay, would you like to tell us how you feel about the whole defense? Poole has John and ISO, and I'm sure he wants to make up for that last play. 2 men rotate. Jackson, Clarke, Looney following his man Clarke. Poole definitely wants to get around the contest and dump it off to Looney, but this pass goes past him. Luckily, Andrew Wiggins just wanders over and grabs this, and the Grizzlies get lucky. And if you're wondering how everyone ended up on the ground for the Grizzlies, Ja gets in deep. Jaren Jackson ends up getting upended by Ja, and then Brandon Clarke just has a tendency to fall down anyway. Brandon Clarke gets ready to set a screen so that Ja can take on Klay, but Ja says, you know what, I'm perfectly fine attacking Mr. Poole over here, so go away. So he waves off the screen. This is a tough task for anybody to stop Ja Morant on the perimeter, and once he gets by Poole, there's not a lot of help coming. Klay steps back as if to be guarding the pass off to Clarke in the dunker spot, so Morant just gets a free layup, but even worse, Poole gives a little bump to give him the and one. So Morant with a gigantic miss. This would end up costing Memphis the ballgame. The Warriors, clearly tired of Morant just blowing by the defense at the point of attack, they bring back Gary Payton II. Warriors' turn. Now they want to pick on Ja Morant. Poole sets the quick screen. You'd think that Morant would have to switch to Steph, but Memphis plays the very, very interesting defense of no switch at all. So Morant stays with Poole, and Dillon Brooks just follows Steph over the screen, which is not at all the usual defense on Steph. I can't say that Poole really held that screen very long. And Steph, with just a quick step back, he completely loses Brooks. This shot is faded to be a miss, but look at the hustle by GP2 and Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins just sneaks inside position on Jaren Jackson. Brandon Clarke can't handle the bounce, squirts out. Gary Payton II runs out, and it's another 50-50. Where he beats 2 Grizzlies to this loose ball. Brandon Clarke, really impressive player, but I don't know if this is like flopping tendencies or like he doesn't want to get hurt or something. He's just always going to the ground for no reason, and sometimes that'll get you a flagrant too. Sometimes this happens. 50-50 scramble, the ball squirts out, and oh look, it's my birthday. Jordan Poole gets the ball right there. He immediately sees that Wiggins is under the basket alone. Zam, it's like a laser off a mirror. And gosh, wasn't Wiggins being guarded by Brandon Clarke a second ago? I wonder what happened to that guy. Last I saw, his momentum seems to have taken him into the next county. Oh, there he is. Wiggins says, thank you very much. I'm going to enjoy this dunk with poutine because I'm Canadian. Okay, so now we've got GP2 guarding Ja, the whole reason he's in the lineup. And the Grizzlies say, well, we can change that. So Brandon Clarke comes over to set the screen. He first tries a quick screen and then slip, but GP2 is not distracted by the shiny object, and Klay just stays with Brandon, so he's going to have to screen him right. Here he comes in for another screen. Another quick screen and slip. This time Klay has to pick up Ja. GP2 does have to follow the dive. Beautiful spin move. Andrew Wiggins is right here, but Ja just gets this shot on the way up. The key to this next play is look at the matchups. Here's who everyone on the Grizzlies is guarding. So who's guarding GP2? It's Brandon Clarke. I'd like you to keep your eye on GP2, unlike Brandon Clarke. GP2, you can see him trying to run fast, but not so fast that he'll set off people's peripheral vision. Look at this vision, though. GP2 is snuck behind everybody. Steph sees it immediately. The quick pass off the dribble. Great catch. Ja tries to gear up for a huge block, and GP2 goes fast with the bank shot. And you can see all kinds of arguing by the Grizzlies, because of course that was a pretty monumental screw up at a big time. Dillon Brooks here yelling at Ja, saying, how could you lose that guy? And then Ja's gonna point and saying, he wasn't my man, it was Brandon Clarke's man. And Brandon Clarke definitely kind of looking around saying, doo-doo-doo, I hope nobody figures out who's supposed to be guarding GP2. Okay, I think we've seen this play before. Clarke to try to force Klay to switch onto Ja. Ja with a really nice first step here on Klay. But this is a super hard shot, and I think Klay might have gotten a piece of that. It's a 50-50 ball. Wiggins hitting the boards hard. GP2 goes up and somehow comes down with the ball, and he tries to squirt this out to Steph, but he never quite gets a handle on it. It was off of Wiggins. This is a great baseline out of bounds play by Memphis. Desmond Bane fakes a rip screen for Dillon Brooks, turns around. It looks like he's going to get a back screen from Brandon Clarke here, but instead of Brandon Clarke immediately slips it, he's got Klay outsized, and Klay does try to stay with him, but the timing on this is gorgeous. Ja just throws it up before Klay even has a chance to contest this. Okay, wing pick and roll with GP2 setting the screen for Steph. The Warriors had burned Memphis a few times in the first quarter with this play, when the Grizzlies went full Shining Twins defense on Steph, and then GP2 would just slip over here and Steph would hit him with the pass, and then GP2 would run a 4-on-3 or throw down a thunderous dunk. But in this case, Brooks fakes the Shining Twins defense and he peels off immediately to follow GP2. So Steph's, I'm just going to go by Brandon Clarke. Brooks had followed GP2, but now he's being guarded by Jaren Jackson, so he says, all right, I can now go back to guarding Steph. Steph finally draws the double in the paint. The man of the hour who's uncovered is Wiggins. Jaren Jackson has to leave GP2 to contest Wiggins, which means GP2 can cut to the basket. Wiggins reads this really fast, good play. Ja Morant, to his credit, reads this fast as well. Good hustle, otherwise this would have been a dunk. GP2 turns, and he did not expect to be looking into Ja Morant's underarm. Where's the open man? You can always look up top to see where the open man is. Klay's got his arm. He's the signpost saying open man 20 feet this way. So Poole is open in the corner. But these guys are seriously in GP2's face. Bane read this anyway, all the way. So now the open man is Klay. Good pivot by GP2 to split this double team. He bullets it out to Klay. He sidestep on the closeout. Fighting for the rebound. Andrew Wiggins here. 50-50 ball happening here. Wiggins uses his athleticism to get to this loose ball. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. Things fall apart. But Steph comes over and says, it's all right, Andrew. So Wiggins says, here you go. And poor Wiggins is now sitting on some bobbleheads in the front row. The Memphis defense is in complete collapse here. Luckily, they remember their basic principle, which is Shining Twins defense on Steph. No one ever got fired for following Steph. It was so chaotic that Jaren Jackson was ending up guarding nobody, so Steph throws it to Poole in the corner. Another flyby contest. Steph, now that two Memphis Grizzlies have thrown themselves into the crowd, he's finally free. You can't just give astronauts 100% oxygen because then you just get drunk on oxygen. I think that's what happened to Steph. He just misses it. And look at Andrew Wiggins doing the dirty work down low and GP2 running in. Wiggins gets his hand on the ball. He almost puts it back. It's just a pachinko game. GP2 somehow gets his hand on this. Then Klay with the hustle. Then after a jump ball, Steph cuts through. And when GP2 here is cutting through, I think it's just occupying all of Jackson's instincts to hang out and block shots. which means it's hard to see, but this is a 2-on-1. And Andrew Wiggins set a screen for Klay. Bane trailing Klay. Jaren Jackson continues to guard nobody in the paint. Great ball fake sends Bane flying by. Jackson is way too far away to switch onto this. The Grizzlies offense is the same play every single time. Some defender they want to pick on. There's a screen at the top of the key. So Morant goes one-on-one with Steph. It's not completely one-on-one. Klay is stepping in behind Steph. Gary Payton II is at the nail to stop Ja from going this way. So the Warriors defense has successfully forced Ja to drive along the line. Steph with really nice lateral movement to stay with Ja. He blocks him with the right hand, and then Ja goes up, switching hands in midair. So Steph says, I can do that too. And he blocks him with the left hand. What a play. That was just incredible, actually. So Klay missed 2 free throws, so Memphis can just grab this rebound and call timeout, right? And set up a play to win the game. Gary Payton II is a literal blur here to contest this rebound, which makes Brooks whack that ball instead of just catching it cleanly. The NBA used to review all of these neutral possession for the last 2 minutes of every game, but they stopped doing it because I guess it was boring. Maybe they should only do it when the game is within 3 points or something like that. I don't know. Sweet play. These 2 guys weave in front of each other, but it's all distraction for Clarke to pop out and to try to give the ball to Morant on the run. GP2 tries his best to stay with it, but this is a nice pass. Klay feels very safe to switch off of Clarke. GP2 is trailing the play as well. He does not believe that this ball is going anywhere near Clarke, and I think with good reason. The clock is not the Grizzlies' friend. For Ja to dump this over, I just don't think there's enough time. Ja just has to shoot this, and 2 plays ago, Ja went for this exact same sweeping left-hand layup. I think Klay did get a finger on this because it misses pretty badly. It's possible he could have hooked a pass over to Clarke cutting for a dunk. That is pretty tricky play to ask Ja to pull off. So this was just great defense. So Klay got to be the hero, then the GOAT, then the hero, all in 45 seconds of game time. Right after the play, Steph running up to him, gives himself a little CPR, and Jordan Poole giving his traditional, I've got Botox gone wrong, frozen face. Good job, Jordan. Seal it off. We've got Jordan Poole with a little chest bump, but then not straying too far from tradition. He reaches round for the good old-fashioned butt slap. And after the game, Klay said that Andre came up to him and said, hey, Klay, stay composed. This is only 1 game. We came here to win 2 games. And I think you could even lip read Andre saying one game. And Klay thanked Andre for his leadership. Right after the game, Draymond Green was waiting at the exit to hug and dap up every Warriors player and every member of the Warriors coaching staff and, I don't know, anyone who's wearing Warriors gear coming through the entrance. And in the middle of this little celebration festival, in comes... How do you think Andre feels about how Draymond did this game? I think Andre came over and is saying, you completely screwed up this game for us with your stupid foul, Draymond, so get a hold of yourself. And I don't care if that was a weak flagrant 2 call. You still shouldn't have done it. Now start acting like a leader and dominate the rest of the series.